So, to start off any good game, I planned it out by making a troll board. And believe me, this troll board will get a whole lot longer over time. So first I created a new Unity project, changed it to a layout that I like, and imported post-processing to make my game actually look kind of decent. Added some effects, you gotta love that bloom and vignette combination. Then I added a player, which is just this little blue circle for now. And then, to make it move, I just used some coding magic and some help from Brackeys. And I also added a trail effect, and now it moves perfectly. I just changed up the trail effect to make it look a little bit better. Imported a crosshair that will follow the player's cursor, and I made it a little bit bigger later on, so it's not as small. And now the player can shoot with some coding magic, and I'll change the shooting system later with the help of Big B Brackeys. And now it's time to make the machine gun, which is just the pistol, but it fires faster. So that's working now. I also added weapon switching, so you can switch between weapons with the scroll wheel. Also added another attack, which is the radial attack, which will just wipe out any enemies nearby. And a grenade, which totally worked on the first attempt. I don't know what you're talking about. It's totally working right here. Totally. See, this is still the first attempt, and there we go. Yeah, totally worked on the first attempt. Now it's time to make the player homing missile attack, which is just basically a grenade, except it actually follows the enemy and will explode on impact. And to spice things up, I added some camera shake and also a little squish effect to the player to make the player feel more like squishy, I guess. That's the name squish effect implies. Then I added some particles, so when the bullets impact something, but the particles spawn. I also added a little slow motion effect, because all good games need slow motion. And I added some particles in the foreground to make the game look more atmospheric and disturbing. Also added a background, which is just some rotating squares. And an explosive barrel, which I just made in Scratch because I'm poor and I don't have anything good like Photoshop. And now it's some coding magic. Now it works. If you shoot it, it explodes, as explosive barrels should. Then I added an inventory, which is just some UI that is used to scroll through. I also added some panels so that now you can actually see the keybinds to toggle the inventory weapons. Also some text for the weapon names. And then I added a radial attack cooldown and a cooldown bar so you can actually see when you can use this radial attack. That took me a lot longer than you would expect. And squares are cool and all, but enemies have to look good. So, instead of a square, now our enemy is a little triangle. So that's pretty neat. Then I made a little triangle follow our player. And sadly, he cannot be brutally murdered yet. So, I added that. And now he could be killed. Then I added a little death effect and a player health bar. And then I added an enemy health bar so you can actually see what health the enemy is at. Then I added a little hit points to the enemy and made him shoot back. Then I also added this really bad coin model for currency, so when the enemy dies, he drops coins. And also, I printed this beautifully long Unity message. I don't know why, I was just kind of mad I was getting a certain error over and over and over, and it wasn't affecting the game at all. It was getting annoying, so I eventually snapped and wrote this error message. So enjoy me writing this, because I recorded the entire thing for some reason. Yep, turn on caps lock and just started to type. Okay, we're going off screen here. Yep. And I'm going to make you read this, because right now you're lazy. And you're not reading, you're just listening. And now I added some player death effect and a respawn. And that is it for this game so far. So hopefully I can actually stay motivated with the game for once.